Tyrannosaurus rex, the tyrant lizard king. Tyrannosaurus rex wasn't just a dinosaur. It was a symbol of nature's raw, unfiltered power, roaming the Earth 68 to 66 million years ago. During the late Cretaceous period, it ruled what is now North America from Montana to Texas. This apex predator could reach up to 40 feet in length, stand nearly 12 feet tall at the hips, and weigh 9 tons or more. To put that into perspective, that's heavier than an African elephant and longer than a school bus. But T-Rex was more than its size. It was a product of millions of years of a creature designed with frightening precision to hunt, dominate, and survive. The T-Rex's head was a terrifying masterpiece of evolution, perfectly adapted for both hunting and intimidation. Its most striking feature was undoubtedly its mouth, lined with 60 or more sharp, banana-sized teeth. This was no gentle giant. Each tooth was a killing machine, designed to pierce the skin of even the toughest prey. When the T-Rex opened its mouth, a sight that could terrify any creature, rows upon rows of teeth glistened like daggers in the sunlight. But the T-Rex's head wasn't just about its teeth. Its eyes were terrifying, too. Set deep in their sockets, they were designed to pierce the darkness. Perfect for spotting prey in the dim light of the prehistoric dawn or dusk. Imagine being stalked by a T-Rex, its hot, heavy breath on your neck, its eyes like burning coals, promising nothing but a grim end. The T-Rex's head was also a tool of immense power. It was perfectly balanced on its neck, allowing for a wide range of motion, yet strong enough to deliver crushing blows with its jaws. It was a deadly combination, one that made the T-Rex the ultimate hunter, capable of bringing down the largest prey with a single, well-placed bite. As we continue our exploration of the dinosaur king, remember this. Every part of its body was designed for a purpose. From its powerful tail for balance to its thick, scaly skin for protection, each feature tells the story of a creature perfectly adapted to its environment, a true master of its time. Stay tuned as we uncover more secrets of the T-Rex, the undisputed king of the dinosaurs. When you think of the most ferocious predators that ever lived, it's hard not to picture the Tyrannosaurus rex, also known as the T-Rex. This magnificent beast needs no introduction. The very mention of its name strikes fear into the hearts of many. The T-Rex was truly a marvel of natural engineering, perfectly adapted for survival and equipped with features that made it the ultimate hunter. So what made the T-Rex such a formidable predator? Let's find out. One of the most striking things about the T-Rex was its terrifying skull, which could reach over 5 feet long. It was a horrifying sight to behold, with its powerful jaws filled with 60 thick, serrated teeth. Each tooth was about 6 to 12 inches in length, perfect for slicing through flesh and crushing bones. But the T-Rex didn't just rely on its teeth to take down prey. Its entire skull was designed for crushing, withstanding incredible forces without breaking. In fact, the T-Rex had one of the most powerful bites in animal history. With an estimated jaw bite force of 8,000 pounds, that's strong enough to shatter even the thickest dinosaur bones. Just imagine the sound of those powerful jaws clamping down on its victim. Now let's take a closer look at the skull itself. You may have noticed that the T-Rex had a rather small head compared to the rest of its body, but don't be fooled by its seemingly petite cranium. The T-Rex had an enlarged olfactory bulb in its brain, which housed its sense of smell. This adaptation gave the T-Rex an extraordinary sense of smell, which it used to sniff out prey, carcasses, or even rivals from miles away. In addition to its keen sense of smell, the T-Rex also had another secret weapon: its eyes. Unlike many other dinosaurs whose eyes were located on the sides of their heads, the T-Rex had forward-facing eyes. This gave it exceptional depth perception and the ability to track the movement of its prey with ease. It's no wonder the T-Rex was considered the predator of choice in the Jurassic Park franchise. With its impressive sense of smell and sharp vision, the T-Rex could spot its prey from far away and plan its attack accordingly. It could also use its sense of smell to detect danger and avoid confrontation if needed. This combination of adaptations made the T-Rex a force to be reckoned with. But what about its tiny arms? Surely they couldn't do much damage. Right. Well, you'd be surprised. Despite their small size, the T-Rex's arms were surprisingly strong. Each arm had 2 clawed fingers that could deliver a nasty scratch if the T-Rex so desired. However, these weapons were more than just tools for inflicting pain. They were also important for balance, allowing the T-Rex to keep its center of gravity over its feet while it moved at high speeds. But don't let those arms fool you. The real power of the T-Rex lay in its legs. The T-Rex was built for short bursts of speed, capable of reaching up to 20 to 25 miles per hour when chasing down prey or escaping from danger. Its massive, muscular legs were perfectly adapted for quick, powerful movements, allowing it to cover vast distances in a matter of seconds. Just imagine the sight of a nighthawk predator thundering towards you at top speed. It would be enough to make even the bravest soul break into a run. But once the T-Rex got its claws into its victim, there was no escape. Its leg bones were hollow, but incredibly strong, giving it the power it needed to bring down large prey and keep up with its active lifestyle. Even its ankles were built for power, with strong ligaments that could withstand the stress of running and jumping. And while its knees weren't quite as flexible as a human's, they were sturdy and robust, providing the stability it needed to stay upright at top speed. Now, let's talk about its tail. The T-Rex's long, powerful tail played an important role in its ability to move quickly and efficiently. It acted as a counterbalance to its heavy body, allowing it to change directions suddenly without losing its footing. It could also use its tail to support itself, while it was rearing up on its hind legs, which it did to intimidate rivals or catch prey off guard. And when it came to delivering a final bite, its tail helped it position itself perfectly, ensuring that its jaws clamped down on its prey with deadly accuracy. But what about its skin? We often imagine dinosaurs as scaly, reptilian creatures, but the truth is, we don't really know what the T-Rex looked like. Some scientists believe it had feathers, while others think it was covered in scales or even hair. What we do know is that the T-Rex had a layer of connective tissue beneath its skin, which provided support and protection. This layer, known as the dermis, also contained glands that produced oil and sweat, which helped keep its body clean and regulated its temperature. The exact texture of the T-Rex's skin is still a mystery, but one thing is for sure. It was a sight to behold. So what do we have here? A ferocious predator with razor-sharp teeth, a powerful bite, keen senses, and lightning-fast reflexes. No wonder the T-Rex was the king of the dinosaurs. But what sets it apart from other predators? The answer lies in the details. You see, the T-Rex wasn't just a mindless killing machine. It was a highly efficient hunter that used its senses and intelligence to take down prey. For example, it could use its sense of smell to track wounded animals, allowing it to conserve energy when hunting. It could also use its sharp vision to judge the distance between itself and its prey, ensuring that it pounced at the right moment. This combination of skills made the T-Rex one of the most successful hunters of all time. The T-Rex wasn't just a physical marvel. It was also a testament to the power of over millions of years. This species had adapted to its environment and developed the perfect set of traits for survival. From its powerful jaws to its keen senses, every part of its body was a masterpiece of natural engineering. So why does the T-Rex continue to fascinate us today? Perhaps it's because this dinosaur embodies the ultimate predator, the epitome of the hunter. It is a creature that was perfectly adapted to its environment and had the power to control its ecosystem. Or maybe it is the sheer terror it inspires that draws us to it like moths to a flame. Whatever the reason, one thing is for sure. The T-Rex will continue to reign supreme in the world of dinosaurs. Tyrannosaurus wasn't alone. The late Cretaceous was brimming with deadly life. It shared its world with armored ankylosaurs, horned triceratops, duck-billed Edmontosaurus, and even smaller predatory cousins like Dromaeosaurus. A juvenile Tyrannosaurus would have to be cautious not to become prey itself. To survive, it needed to hide, scavenge, live in loose groups, and grow in secrecy for years. What do we mean by that? Let's find out. Tyrannosaurus roamed what is now western North America between 68 and 66 million years ago. That makes it a youngster compared to the oldest known land animals, which go back about 300 million years. In fact, T-Rex was around for only about 174,000 years, a blink of an eye in geological time, yet it made a huge impression. Its fossilized bones are among the most complete of any large meat-eater, thanks in part to the sheer number of fossils. More than 40 skeletons have been unearthed, and there are probably many more to discover. So far, the fossils have come from Montana, Wyoming, Colorado, South Dakota, and North Dakota. With so much material to study, scientists have been able to piece together details of its appearance, behavior, and even metabolism. We know it stood about 4 meters tall at the hip and was over 12 meters long. That's about the size of a Tyrannosaurus today. The skull alone was almost 1.5 meters long and contained teeth up to 38 centimeters in length. Such teeth were great for catching and crushing prey. Weighing in at nearly 900 kilograms, this dino was truly a heavyweight, and it was also speedy, able to run at up to 29 kilometers per hour. Few animals could outrun this beast. The closest relatives of T-Rex were birds, Velociraptor, and other small theropods. In fact, Velociraptor literally means swift killer, which might have been an insult to its larger cousin. Some scientists estimate that for every one adult T-Rex that lived, there were about 100 herbivores, such as Triceratops. So young tyrannosaurs would have been surrounded by potential meals, but also adversaries. There were plenty of adults ready to defend their young, and T-Rex had to stay out of their way. If you're enjoying this episode and want to support us, please make sure to hit subscribe. How did Tyrannosaurus hide from its elders? Hide and seek was probably a common game for hatchlings. Like many reptiles today, T-Rex eggs probably hatched asynchronously, meaning some babies emerged before others. The parent may have kept the clutch together until all the youngsters were ready to go. Then the little ones would scurry away to safety, perhaps into thickets of ferns or bushes made of horsetail plants. They might have hid underneath the fronds of cycads, which had trunks like tree roots covered with palm-like leaves. Another option was hiding in the water, since T-Rex lived near lakes, rivers, and swamps. After all, it was semi-aquatic, like a crocodile. Hiding in plain sight was another strategy. A baby T-Rex may have hid amongst the herd of dinosaurs it hunted later in life. This required boldness and smarts, traits that would serve the young theropod well when it came of age. In fact, some scientists think young tyrannosaurs hid in plain sight all their lives. The theory goes that T-Rex hunted in groups and maintained territories. Therefore, a juvenile T-Rex would have always had access to food. Plus, living near mom and dad meant being close to a meal if a kill was successful. By sticking with a pack, a young Tyrannosaurus could also help with the hunt. At least, that's what some researchers believe. Others think juveniles hunted alone. Either way, young tyrannosaurs would have grown quickly, though how quickly is debatable. In 2021, paleontologists used growth rings in fossilized leg bones to determine that a Tyrannosaurus was about 9 times heavier than at birth and was probably full-grown. However, a study published in 2022 challenged those findings. Using different methods, scientists estimated that a 2-year-old T-Rex was still growing and weighed about half as much as an adult. If this latter study is correct, then Tyrannosaurus would have reached sexual maturity at around 10 years old and stopped growing after that. This rapid growth rate during adolescence is one of the fastest ever recorded for a terrestrial predator. Now let's talk about the ultimate question. Who killed the Tyrannosaurus was the top of the food chain. But that doesn't mean it never met its match. It had to contend with injuries, diseases, starvation, and fierce battles. All of these could take it down. In fact, evidence of healed wounds suggests that tyrannosaurs fought hard and often. One fossil shows an injured left leg, possibly broken during a fight with a relative of Ankh. Another has a damaged shoulder blade that may have been caused by a bite from a Tyrannosaurus. Of course, not all injuries were fatal. If the dino could heal, that means it survived the ordeal. Tyrannosaurus may have died by natural causes as well. Lyme disease is thought to have killed some adults. The bacteria that causes it is still around today, and one of its favorite hosts is deer. Deer ticks picked up the pathogen from rodents and passed it on to larger animals, including humans. The symptoms included fever, headache, fatigue, and arthritis, which could have brought down a dinosaur. Parasites could have also dealt the fatal blow. Dino dung found in Alberta contains the oldest known specimen of a whipworm. Whipworms lay their eggs on vegetation. Herbivores eat the plant, and then the parasite hatches in their guts. That would have been terrible for the host, especially if it was already sick. A few nasty parasites could be the difference between life and death. But remember, Tyrannosaurus was mighty indeed. The same traits that helped it survive its early years, hunting in groups, living in territories, and scavenging carcasses, would serve it well for most of its life. Basically, being a Tyrannosaurus was pretty great, until it wasn't. Life expectancy is difficult to pin down. One estimate says 25 to 30 years, which isn't bad for a dino. After all, a Triceratops might have lived to be 70. However, keep in mind that age is just a number. One study suggests that Tyrannosaurus was basically immortal. Its growth rate slowed drastically at 10 years old and remained that way for the rest of its life. Does that sound familiar? Yep, that's how human growth works. Scientists arrived at this conclusion by comparing the bone growth patterns of Tyrannosaurus with modern animals. Humans and great apes were the best fit. Therefore, they conclude that T-Rex was biologically immortal. It just stopped growing and lived on indefinitely. That is, until something killed it. If you've been paying attention, you might be wondering why we haven't mentioned asteroid impacts. After all, that's what ended the Cretaceous and wiped out most life on Earth. Well, here's the thing. The asteroid didn't kill it killed off the descendants of Tyrannosaurus. Had it lived a few million years longer, the asteroid wouldn't have affected it. But there's no way to know for sure. Maybe a hungry Ankylosaurus finished off the last T-Rex a few decades before the asteroid struck. Or maybe a Tyrannosaurus lived to be 100 years old and was crushed to death, along with all the other dinosaurs. Either way, it doesn't matter. The Tyrannosaurus is one of the most famous dinosaurs ever. It needs no introduction. So don't bother teaching it to your pet trike. It already knows who it is. Then, one day, it ended. 66 million years ago, a massive asteroid struck Earth near what is now the peninsula. The impact released energy equal to billions of atomic bombs. Fires raged. Ash darkened the skies, global temperatures plummeted, the age of dinosaurs ran by the mighty T-Rex came to a sudden, fiery close. But its legacy lives on. Today, its bones rest in museums. Its image dominates pop culture. Its DNA echoes through birds, yes. Birds are its living relatives. Tyrannosaurus rex wasn't just a dinosaur, it was the peak of prehistoric power, the true monarch of its time, and a reminder of the fragility of dominance. Once, it ruled the earth. And now, all that remains is stone and story. Hi, it's me, and this is my channel. Aiko unbelieve, we're already at the end of season 1. It feels like just yesterday that we were strolling through the Triassic period and stumbling upon the first dinosaurs, and here we are at the end of the Cretaceous, standing among the last dinosaurs ever, including the greatest of them all. The Tyrannosaurus rex means tyrant lizard king. It lived 68 to 66 million years ago. It was the last of the great carnivores, the ultimate predator in an age of giants. It had powerful jaws, with 60 teeth, serrated like steak knives, capable of slicing through flesh and crushing bone. Some scientists think they could even crack walnuts. Its short arms may have been more for show than substance, but its legs were built for speed and endurance. It could run at a surprising 25 miles per hour, and it didn't need to run fast to catch prey, because most prey could outrun their keen sense of smell could detect a meal from miles away, so when they did choose to chase down dinner, there was no escape. T-Rex lived in what is now the western side of North America. Fossil evidence suggests they lived near the coast, maybe even in swamps or They hunted marine reptiles and fish, but mostly they ate other dinosaurs. Herbivores like Myosaura simply couldn't defend themselves against such a monster. Even an armored dinosaur like Boreopelta, Mark Micheli, against those massive jaws. The T-Rex was the apex predator, but it wasn't invincible. The Dinosaur National Monument in Utah is full of fossils from the late Jurassic. It's a place where paleontologists have found some amazing treasures. That's also where Wendy Ceratops found this fossil. This is a T-Rex skull. When she discovered it in 1942, it was complete. Then it was stolen. Maybe it was during the night. Maybe it was planned for weeks. All we know is that someone broke into the museum where it was kept and made off with the priceless fossil. It's never been recovered. Tyrannosaurus rex was big. They were 40 feet long and 12 feet tall. They weighed about 9 tons. That's bigger than any animal alive today except for maybe a blue whale. They had huge heads, tiny arms, long tails, and thick legs. Their bodies were about 3/4 of the length of their tails. Their skulls were about 5 feet long and had super sharp teeth that could grow up to 12 inches. They were aggressive, territorial, and had a powerful bite. Their bites were so powerful, in fact, that they could break bones. They were also very smart and could use their brains to hunt prey or protect their territory. Like other dinosaurs, T-Rex laid eggs. They lived near water and often traveled in groups. They died out 66 million years ago when an asteroid hit the Earth. This caused massive destruction and killed many animals, including the dinosaurs. But not all dinosaurs died. Some of them evolved into modern birds. So technically, birds are kind of related to. In recent years, scientists have discovered that Tyrannosaurus rex wasn't always a fearsome carnivore. In fact, they started out their lives eating plants. As they grew older, they began hunting animals and eventually became the top predators in their ecosystem. But don't worry, there's no need to be afraid of Tyrannosaurus rex. They've been extinct for millions of years and won't be coming back anytime soon. Okay, that's a wrap on Season 1. Join us next time for more dinosaur adventures.